Chris,
Yes.
how do you feel when someone who you think you know them and you think you appreciate what they do and they're doing a good job and then they leave or stab you in the back and they go to the one you're trying to beat? I mean, losing Alfred was one thing because really none of us liked him.
Right.
This week, this young lady on the in the wearing the Ohio State stuff here,
Who is very
um,
underappreciated, by the way, for her efforts and what she did.
Erin Dunston, and of course that's a picture of her sister who transferred and played basketball at the University of Dum, and then is a coach there now. She decided, Chris, that she was going to leave Ohio State for Ann Arbor. Now, I've listened to quite a few shows,
Mhm.
and some people give some opinion about Erin, and I'm here to tell you that she was very good at her job.
Yes.
The individuals who I have spoke to at Ohio State, in my own two eyes, and what I have witnessed going to games, watching recruits, listening to the players on the team, all talk about how good she is at her job. Now, what is her job? She is a part of the recruiting department for the football team.
Hmm.
She mainly was organizing and putting together the events when the recruits would come in.
Hmm.
And she was not only doing that, but she had a relationship with these recruits and more importantly, their families. She's not a nobody. Okay, I've heard
No.
some people say that. She's not. She's a somebody based off of what the current players and their families are saying.
Yeah.
And there's some hurt feelings here. Now, on the flip side of that, a lot of people are saying, hey, she had family there. Her
Hmm.
sister went there. Her sister's a coach there. I think her parents might even live in Ann Arbor or be close there. At least according to um, they had taken pictures there. And Mello's wanting to know what the number is. The number's rolling across the bottom: 567-483-1999. Feel free to call in, people. The phone lines are open. Again, 567-483-1999. We will get to you those phone calls in just a minute, but let's finish talking about Erin here. When I read the news that she was
Hmm.
leaving, I'm not gonna lie, I was more upset about this than I was Tony Alford.
Well, absolutely.
And so I've got to ask the question, and then here's how I'm going to spin this tonight. And this isn't spinning based off of trying to create a positive out of negative. I just want to look at this from different angles and explore the truth. If her heart was in Ann Arbor, I would rather she be there than here. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Now there's a whole slew of other things that are involved that now she's leaving, what information gone with her, why did she leave, etc. All those things. Who's going to replace her? And we'll get to all of that in a minute. But I want to say this. We need to vet people a little better. And if you're getting the job because you're good at what you do, yeah, absolutely. That's one thing. But at this point, from here on out, Ryan Day needs to ask the question. And if I'm Ryan Day, after this, I'm pulling the entire department into a meeting. Everybody, the assistant coaches, the position coaches, the GAs, everybody. everybody in the recruiting department, everybody selling freaking hot dogs at the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Day needs to look at anybody else to say, who else wants to go? And then he's going to pull out a contract and say, from here on out, in your contract, there will be a no compete clause. No one will be leaving this university for Ann Arbor. Nobody. I don't care if you're on the bottom rung, if you're literally cleaning the toilets at the Horseshoe, you're not allowed to leave this program for Ann Arbor. Nobody. It is war. It was war for Urban Meyer. It was war for Woody Hayes. And doggone it, even though he was super nice, it was war for Jim Tressel. And Ryan Day needs to pull his britches up, tighten his belt up, get some grit in, pull up some grit from the ground if he's got to, and say, this is enough. It needs to, the line needs to be drawn. We are not going to go through the John Cooper 90s all over again. And this is another slap in Ryan's face. Ryan, you're a nice guy. You're too nice. You're too nice. And there's reports that he cussed her out and threw her out of the building. That's not true.
Never happened.
That's not true. But you know what? From that point on, he needs to tell everybody else in this program, stop it. Stop it. No more. Sign it. And if you're not willing to sign it, get out of here. If you're not willing to go all in and beating them scum and those cheaters from Ann Arbor, if you're not on my side, if you're not on the Scarlet and Gray side, if you're not here for these players, get out. We don't need you. That's how I feel. Chris, how do you feel about it?
Here's a big part of the problem. And I want to go back to what you said about vetting the people to begin with. When you get somebody who is in the game for the business of football, this is going to happen. If they don't have an attachment, if they don't have a loyalty to the university, they are just in it for the money and the experience, you're going to see this happen. So that goes back to, like you said, the vetting process. Now, Ryan Day has done a very good job on his coaching staff with hires like Brian Hartline and James Laurinaitis and Tim Walton, who all played here, who all, have an attachment, who have a loyalty to the university. Guys who bleed scarlet and gray. Literally, a lot of those guys did. They went out on the field and bled scarlet and gray. If you don't have a loyalty to the program, you should not be a part of the program. Now, I'm not saying it can't be a loyalty that is developed, but you have to, like you said, be all in.
Yeah.
There is no halfway coming in. There is no, I'm going to keep 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You have to be all in. And I think the idea of a non-competition clause is a genius. And
listen,
you know what?
We
Businesses
sign
do
them
it
all the time.
Yes.
We sign them all the time in business.
Yes.
I cannot leave my employer and work for a competitor. I can't do it. It's in my contract.
When I was in the rent-to-own game, that was a common thing. I couldn't manage one store and then leave and go manage another company. I literally had a 90-day period where, and sometimes up to a year, where I could not work for another company in the same line of business. Why not?
Larry Daniels brings up a good point. Here's the argument against it, right? When you're that low in the financial board and can get a 50% increase in pay, I see.
Columbus. It wasn't so much a loyalty to either school, but if she had ties and an opportunity to double her salary, I can understand. I don't like it, but I can understand what she was thinking when she took it.
And by the way, thank you for that super chat, Larry. It was a $4.99 super chat. Donald and Karen Rosbach, $20 super chat. Sometimes I wonder if Ryan Day does not understand the rivalry. OH, brother, you ain't kidding.
You have to wonder. I believe he's starting to.
I
As his backside's getting
this
warm, I think
this
he's starting
helps.
to.
It should. It should. Um,
I mean, all he's had to do is turn on the TV or the radio on a Saturday night after Thanksgiving the last 3 years, and he should know how doggone serious this rivalry is.
yeah. Odysseus, I'm with you. My opening statement was, if you don't want to be here, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I feel it's addition by subtraction.